overall, really proud of our guys. We've got a veteran offensive group, and I knew last night going into today, personally, I had a really good feeling about that this team would rise up today. Certainly, there's a lot of talent on this ball club, and they showed that today. Losing a one-run game like we did yesterday, for us to come back and Waddell to be as good as he was, and then Lewicki in the back half, and to have a great offensive day. A number of guys have to have multiple hits, and I think there's 4 or 5 players in our lineup that had 2 or 3 hits. The first half of the game, off Schwarren, he's talented. He knows what he's doing out there. He mixes his pitches good. And we got runners on again, and we just couldn't punch him home. But that's okay. Our guys didn't lose the confidence that they need to be successful. And then, the back half of the game, we found a way to punch those guys across and open the game up a little bit. Certainly making the decision to go to Artie Lewicki at that point in the ball game with runners on first and second with a 1-run lead. I made that decision because you're in a 1-game season right now, and we've got a lot of confidence in Artie that he's going to go out there and throw strikes, and certainly made 3 big pitches there to get us out of that inning and finish the ball game. I don't know right now where that leaves us tomorrow. I haven't decided yet what we're going to do from that standpoint, but if you look at a stat sheet, there's a handful of pitchers that have made a number of starts for this ball club this year, and whoever goes out and starts that game tomorrow, we'll have a tremendous amount of confidence in.
Brian, did you give any thought when you had the big inning after Artie gets a strikeout of sitting him down and holding him for tomorrow?
I did not. We've got to win the one in front of us. We know Maryland's not going to go away, and I just didn't want to get too cute and try to create too much. Artie was throwing strikes, and I felt like that's what we needed at that point, and I just decided to stay with him. I really wasn't worried about tomorrow. I know it's about winning the series, but tomorrow we have an opportunity to show what a complete pitching staff we have, and I just decided to stay with him till the end.
Brian, you said yesterday that you had trouble finding some grass. It looks like today that you guys finally found some grass.
Yeah, I as I do in most games, I go back and reflect and watch the video of the game that we just finished with, and I go back to game 1, and we hit a lot of balls hard right at guys. That's the game of baseball, and if we stayed with the same approach that we had in game 1, which I thought we did, the big guy upstairs eventually rewards you for being consistent with an approach, and certainly we did today, and a lot of those balls found holes.
Brian, I apologize if you've addressed this week, but the fact that the Major League Draft is right now, and you have so many guys going and who went, what challenge does that present in your clubhouse to keep the guys focused on what's at hand when all this future stuff is right in their face?
Yeah, it's I'll tell you, it's a lot for a young person to deal with. Fortunately, a lot of those players had opportunities out of high school, so they've dealt with it before. They've dealt with the hype and the drama around the draft. I don't think we'd be sitting here today, with 40 some odd wins or however many we have and having a chance to go to Omaha, if those players that are third years were not mature and did not put their team first. So it's difficult because they have a dream, right, of playing in the major leagues someday, and that's important to them because they work hard for that every day. But it's when I sent a text message to each of the individuals that went in the first round, the 3 guys that went in the first round right after they got drafted, their immediate response was, Coach, that's great, thank you, but this team has more work to do. So I know in the conversations that I've had with them throughout the year, they were prepared for this, and I thought they handled it really well. Certainly, it's a challenge for every ball club, that's playing this time of the year. There's only 16 of us playing, but it is what it is, and you have to deal with it.
Brian, you started Robbie at catcher today, got on base a couple times, scored a couple runs. Do you know what you do at catcher tomorrow?
I don't yet. We're really fortunate here that we have 2 really outstanding catchers. You have a catcher, Nate Irving, that didn't play today, and somebody drafted him, right? And Robbie Coleman does everything the right way. He's a total team guy. He's a very good player. So at some point tonight, it'll come to me what the right thing to do is. It's a good luxury to have, though.
Brian, a couple of your players were talking about all the confidence you had in them. What was your message to them today before they went out?
It wasn't a message before they went out. It was well before that. I had conveyed my thoughts to them as a group, and that this ball club's like any team. As you go through a season, you go through a lot of things. The losses, the confrontations you have throughout the year between coaches and players and things like that. That's natural. That's what a team goes through. And I just shared with them that I really, really believe that they were going to come out today and be successful, and we were going to come out on top. I'll tell you personally, there's a lot of anxiety this time of the year. I think that's natural. I think that's human nature, right? And I personally was as calm today as I ever have been, and at this time of the year, and that was because I know what these guys are made of, and I know the talent that they have, and so you got to come beat us, because I think what we're bringing to the table is pretty good.
Asked you yesterday if Nick Howard was an option to bat, and you go out without him and get 17 hits. Is he in one of the options? Is he in the consideration for starting tomorrow?
Nick Howard is not in the consideration for starting tomorrow. He will remain as a pitcher, correct? He will remain in the same role. Certainly, he hasn't been touched yet, so he is available for longer. Maybe a little bit different of a situation. But he as a pitcher, he will not start tomorrow.
Brian, tomorrow will be your 4th Game 3 Super Regional, the first one here since a pretty memorable one against Irvine.
Yeah.
What do you, if anything, share with your club about that experience, and do you think you'll be as calm tomorrow as you were today?
I hope that I am, because I think young people, I think a team take on the personality of what the coaching staff's like, and so, there won't necessarily be a message or anything learned from the Game 3 Super Regionals that we've been in. The ones that we've been in, they've all kind of played out in different ways. But I know this team will come out tomorrow and give it the best they have. And we'll put the right guys on the mound that'll give us the best chance to win. And, I'm confident that they'll come out and play a great ball game. Sorry, I kind of avoided that a little bit, but I don't want to give all my secrets away. Yeah, Aaron.
Coach, Brandon Downs, I think, had 2 hard hits yesterday, 2 more today. Curious if, I know it's been a tough year for him health-wise, and I'm curious if you think now, is he closer to being the player that you thought and hoped he would be, and how much of a difference does that make for you?
Well, that's a great observation. He's there. You know, I felt the last few weeks that Brandon Downs was taking more consistent passes at the baseball. He was barreling it up more. And Downs is swinging the bat now like he was last year. And, you know, I've given some thought and some consideration. Do I move the order around a little bit and things based on his production? But I'm really proud of him, you know, dealing with the injuries he's had this year, dealing with the inconsistencies, the fact that he's performing the best that he has, you know, since the early part of the season really says something about, you know, what he's made of.